Both programs have national championship pedigree. Both were bounced last year in the Sweet 16. One is about to advance to the Elite Eight. And a date with the winner of South Carolina, UCLA, coming up next. And immediately the takeaway from Maryland, a big part of their game, as Massonis lays it in, is steal and score.
That's right, steal, score. That's Maryland.
Capital One starting lineup for the Fighting Irish. You'll note no Dara Mabry and no Olivia Miles. They go with the big lineup after they lost two of their superstars to knee injuries during the season. And for the Maryland Terrapins, Shy Sellers has really emerged as a big-time running mate with Diamond Miller.
Now, because the ball went across the plane and was established in the front court, the 10-second count is off, because I was starting to wonder. I was watching the clock tick down, and that's a great start for Maryland. Steal, score, and then their pressure already taking Notre Dame 10 seconds into the shot clock, and they're just initiating their offense.
And it's already down to 5. Westbeld needs a little space, comes up short. Lauren Ebo blocked by Miller and then stripped loose. Sellers with the drop-off and the 3-ball from Renee Alexander. No true point guard for the Irish, so they've got some folks that have had to move around on the court. Westbeld,
because she can make decisions with a ball on top of the floor. She doesn't just stretch to shoot it.
20-point game in their first-round win over Southern Utah, and here is Westbeld with the rebound. Irish will run selectively. Westbeld, and now Watson drops it off to Ebo. Their front court in their first 2 games, Debbie, combining for over 50 points.
Well, I think it's all about scoring for her because they need her offense. I mean, this is a Maryland team that averages just shy of 80 points a game, and you're not going to be able to stop them. I think you're going to have to score with them.
Citron attacks the rim. This is a good start for her.
And the other thing, too, as Abby Myers hits the mid-range jumper inside that zone, is it's not like Notre Dame is a catch-and-shoot 3. Without Dara Mabry on the floor, without Olivia Miles, Sonia Citron would be the recipient of the catch-and-3. So it's catch-and-shoot 3.
Former national champion, point guard for the Fighting Irish. Now, after a long time, assistant coach for Muffet McGraw, Niele Ivey, who was the ACC Coach of the Year after guiding the Fighting Irish to the regular season championship on the final day of the regular season. As you see, Brenda Free's 2006 title.
One of just a couple of active coaches that have won a national championship. There's just 5. Tara Gino, Dawn, Kim, and Brenda. And if you need their last names, you haven't been following the history of our game very well.
Miller. And Sellers whistled for the walk. Our officials today, Eric Bruton, Jesse Dickerson, and Teresa Turner in the striped shirts.
One of the things that Niele Ivey told us yesterday in our meeting with her is that Mississippi State did help prepare them for pressure. Sam Purcell did a fantastic job at Mississippi State this year with small and quick. And they went against that, and they came out with a win.
Citron trying to shake off. Looks like she took a hit to the nose. Cass Prosper, the freshman, turns it over.
There's 2 white jerseys in front, and you got to read the backside. There's no chance that pass is getting in there.
Sellers in and out. Maryland will take this tempo. They get another steal, and then Lauren Ebo whistles for the reach-in.
I mean, this is a tips, deflections, risk, reward kind of defense for Brenda Freeze, and that's the way they're setting the tone early. They are making it difficult for Notre Dame to run their stuff right now. That's why they got to score in transition. If they can score in transition or score in their high-low game, that will help them against Maryland's style of defense.
Well, and as much as they'd love to get out to a great start, they're of the belief, Debbie, that they can try and wear Notre Dame down as well through the course of 40 minutes with this style of play. Myers can't knock it down. Irish have turned it over 5 times in their first 9 possessions. KK Bransford. That one won't go. Ebo, who has just been a monster on the glass for the Irish in the postseason, can't get the second chance to go.
There goes Diamond off the glass into their transition game.
Who needs an outlet pass?
We don't need an outlet pass anymore in the game. Let's go.
Myers. And they are trying to set that tone early. 5 points off of 5 Notre Dame turnovers as they've been able to steal and score.
And they take Notre Dame deep into their offensive options too. That's the other part of being disruptive with your defense.
Notre Dame hanging around due to their work on the glass. Prosper with a couple of offensive rebounds. And finally ripped out of there by Lavender Briggs. And here is Alexander. You got to respect the three, and she goes by the defender for the lay-in.
That's why you push in transition, right, Beth? You run the floor wide. Maryland is so skilled offensively and doing those things well. It's the kind of offensive habits that you create from day one.
Terps have scored the last 6 in a row, so now Notre Dame gets Citron off the point and back to the wing.
They like to run that Iverson cut, and they like to slip Westbeld off that screen.
Maryland is all gas, no brakes. Notre Dame, due to injuries to their starting backcourt, has had to adjust, and they are playing with a stronger front line here in the postseason. Bransford hangs and hits in the lane.
And think about the job that Niele Ivey has done as Maryland gets a layup on the other end. Speed versus size. You have to remake your team here in the postseason.
Watson, nice spin inside. For Maryland in particular, 9 new players after they lost 5 of their top 6 scorers from a year ago, including the LSU All-American Angel Reese. And a bump and a foul underneath on Westbeld. And now a trip to the free throw line for Bree McDaniel, the freshman from Chicago. Brenda already showing she'll go a little deeper into her bench to get some fresh legs out there to keep this tempo up. Miles, an AP All-American. They lost her in the season finale. Dara Mabry, their top 3-point shooter, they lost her early in the year to a knee injury, and here they go.
What a great pass off that double by Watson.
Myers hangs and hits. Prosper, who joined the team mid-season, graduated high school early, goes with the left hand. Shot and game clock about the same. The lob over the top and the turnover. Irish can tie it or take the lead.
Come on now. You got to make a better pass than that. Finishing school inside.
Westbeld checks the clock, back to Prosper. Good if it goes. And it's a 2-point game through the first quarter. The speed working and the size working. And a 2-point game as we start out the second quarter.
Notre Dame switching up out of the zone. They've gone to man, and they've gone with staying with that tall lineup to give it a try.
Corner 3 and an open look for Lavender Briggs.
That's the issue. If you're going to go man, and Ebo's got to guard someone, and she doesn't want to come out of the paint.
She had 24 in the regular season matchup against Maryland at 6 on.
Boy, Kylie Watson's really fighting for position inside. Good mid-range. Nice job of moving the ball. How about Prosper off the bench early?
Giving him a big boost. 3-pointer off the mark. Here's a look at what has happened since Miles went out. That's about 17 fewer points per game, and the shooting off about 5% without her ability to score herself, but also distribute.
Well, the pace of the game has changed because of the size factor on the floor. Right now, this is a lineup that I really like for Notre Dame because Westbeld can do that.
Junior out of Kettering, Ohio, following in the footsteps of her older sister, Kat. Both of them 1,000-point scorers at Notre Dame.
You know, it's interesting here, Beth. Like most teams play 4 out, 1 in, right? But we've got 3 teams here. South Carolina plays with a double low post. LSU plays with a double low post. And Notre Dame is doing that now since their backcourt injuries.
Bransford Leaves it off to Watson. More paint points for Notre Dame. And a 7-0 run for the Irish to take the lead.
Ladies, Neil Ivey told me this team is playing with love. They lost their fire and their heartbeat with Darren and Olivia on the sidelines, but they said they know their personnel.
Sonia's a 77% shooter. The NCAA men's basketball elite men's bracket has blown up. Got 2 ACC teams that have already advanced. Notre Dame trying to join them.
Louisville last night with a 10-point win over Ole Miss. Congratulations to Jeff Walls and that group playing again to go to the Elite Eight.
How about Mikasa Robinson defending on Caitlin Clark on Sunday? That's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
She was not at all pleased with the way that South Carolina was able to take her out of the game last year in the Final Four, and she's been building towards getting back. Citron looks this year to stay within 10 points of South Carolina as they faced off earlier in the season.
And Diamond really forcing it right there around 3 blue jerseys.
Aaliyah Boston, last year's National Player of the Year. The offense is a lot better than last year's championship team, and Debbie, the defense may be historic for South Carolina.
I think it's the best defense we have ever seen in the women's game. We have some numbers to back that up. Not just their length and their depth and their versatility. It's their field goal percentage defense combined with their block shots. It's unlike anything we've ever seen.
Point guard at Notre Dame for Muffet McGraw. Muffet with 2 of her former assistants in the Sweet 16. Kevin McGuff also with Ohio State. They're playing UConn later. But has set a tremendous example in her 20 years now at Notre Dame in all different capacities, including a fabulous adjustment in this game, Debbie. This lineup has the Irish on a 13-0 run that just came to an end. They've gone to a little more Cass Prosper and a little less Lauren Ebo court time.
Smaller lineup, a little bit more positionless, if you will. That would be 2 on Watson, and now Ebo comes back in the game. Remember, Ebo missed 5 games earlier in the year. She had a lower leg injury.
Let's see if Brenda immediately tries to take advantage.
Notre Dame immediately goes zone.
Miller wants a touch, working on Ebo, and a foul. Let's see, is that on her or Westbeld? And that's also the second foul now on Maddie Westbeld. So 2 frontline players with 2 fouls for the Irish. Diamond Miller misses on the first, 6th in the country in free throws attempted and made this year. Spends a lot of time there usually. Nice drop off for Prosper.
Notre Dame to switch sides of the floor in transition, and that's hard to guard when you can advance past the ball through that kind of pressure.
Masonis out of the short corner, and look out, Notre Dame. That is the 3rd personal foul on Westbeld. She had a 20-point game in the first round, a 15-rebound game in the second round. A key card for the Irish out, and another foul down low. All-Big Ten team this year, as well as the All-Big Ten defensive team. She brings what Maryland calls the dog mentality. She was instrumental in helping to build that chemistry. Good catch by Brainsford down low, and a foul. Brainsford short. Missed them both. 2 minutes to go here in the first half. Winner advances to the Elite Eight and a date with South Carolina or UCLA. That's our second game coming up here in Greenville. And then a doubleheader later today from Seattle.
See, Maryland has played on the top or outside that zone defense. Abby Myers did score in the lane on an earlier play. And now you take a long 3 and a quick transition up the floor by Sonia Citron.
Diamond Miller has yet to score a basket in the first half.
There you go.
She heard me.
That would be her 19th 3 of the season.
Ebo with the catch over the top of the foul. Ebo's a 73% shooter. Sunday night coverage starts at 9 o'clock. The Hurricanes can match the lowest seed to ever reach the Final Four. Somewhere Gary Blair is smiling. His Arkansas squad in 1998, a 9 seed, the lowest ever to get there.
Christy Smith is smiling also.
Oh, yeah. Satia Messer.
Yes.
Difference in this one, Notre Dame turned it over 8 times in the first quarter, but only 1 time in the second. And they have feasted on Maryland giveaways.
He's playing inside that zone. Look at the collapse. Now you got to find the open shooter, and there it is.
4 blue jerseys around Miller, and she gets it to Brene Alexander.
Wow, there was a lot of contact on the ball handler. There should have been a foul on Maryland.
Final seconds of the half. Maryland for the lead. Briggs doesn't get it off in time. We kind of expected that advantage. What we did not expect was the advantage on points off of turnovers and fast break points for the Irish.
And this is the way Maryland started the game. Brenda Fries told us from her locker room speech, set the tone. They did that in the first quarter to start the game.
And can they get Diamond Miller going? Just 1 for 4. 4 points in that first half. She scored 31 on the Irish in their regular season matchup. The only opponent to drop 30 on Notre Dame all season. Here she is, 1 and white.
I think it's the quality of the catch and what she does with it. Now, that was a much better shot selection because she's capable of that long stretch.
Let's check in with Angel.
Coach Brenda Fries told me a couple adjustments that they need to make is just be a little bit more dominant on the boards. They saw a much better flow in that second quarter towards the end because they were more aggressive, moving downhill, getting some more free throws. They went 4 for 6 in that stretch.
Sellers and 1.
What an incredible clear out. What a great set by Maryland. Watch all the white jerseys go to this side of the floor, and that opens up the lane. This is a great take off the bounce. The help is late. Bucket for Sellers.
And that is now the 3rd personal foul on Lauren Ebo. So 2 frontline starters, Ebo and Watson, with 3 fouls. Maryland goes back on top. Westbeld lobs over the top to Watson. Triple team, and she finds Bransford. Good assist for Watson. Crossover. Cheyenne Sellers on a trip to the line.
You look for the dive, then you look for the skip.
Sellers gets the first, a 79% free throw shooter. 2 for 2.
You know, sometimes we're sitting on the same angle as the officials.
Hard fall for McDaniel.
Well, McDaniel getting extended minutes here.
Prosper long on the shot. Sellers lost the handle. Open floor turnover. And the deuce for Notre Dame.
Good bird. You know, I don't like to be spending my time on the officials.
Inside Sellers. She'll initiate. Watson on the mismatch. Got it.
When Notre Dame is really clicking right here. They look connected. ACC has been challenging this year, and they won the regular season. There's Miller on the baseline. And yesterday, Miami, Katie Meyer wearing that Cinderella slipper.
Westbeld with the air ball.
It's a simple play and very well executed.
Daniel off the bounce. And that's going to be 4 on Watson.
So you're forcing Maryland to put the ball on the floor.
Citron. Marked by Alexander. Making her go left. Sonia. Got it up and in.
What a great take. And then right off the deck, she gets a deflection. Sonia Citron can finish with her left hand.
Now in the double digits with 10. Notre Dame will allow McDaniel to shoot all day. Westbeld got the advantage on the run. Maddie Westfeld with the one-hander. Miller.
Just
that won't go.
No flow right now to what Maryland is doing.
Miller going to work inside. Rebounds her own miss. Second chance up and in.
The product is the narrative. Been saying it all for a long time, not just this season. That's how good the game is.
Talent is stretching out around the country. Some of the big stories coming up. Yeah, we could still have a Tennessee-UConn game.
In Ohio State and UConn. Yeah. Ohio State will play 94 feet of full court pressure.
And the other subplot, the return of AZ Fudd has UConn feeling pretty good. They are trying to get back to the Final Four for the 15th year in a row.
That is amazing. That number's phenomenal.
Got a tight one here in Greenville. And the three ball is good from Lavender Bridge. Quick shots here on both sides last few possessions. Miller leading the break. Count it.
That might be the emotional lift that Diamond and her teammates may need. One bounce, hard take off the glass, absorbs the contact.
So two frontline starters with 4 fouls for the Irish, and Niele Ivey will have to dig deep. Nat Marshall, the junior from Queens, will come on as Ebo departs. The speed versus size matchup continues. The speed starting to take over with the size in foul trouble. Miller back to the free throw line. The relationship between player and coach, Angel, is a good one.
Absolutely. How about the evolution of Diamond Miller from her freshman year to now? Brenda Free said in her first year, she couldn't even give me eye contact. She was shy, anxious about stepping on the floor. Now she's completely opposite. At times you can see her. She's the loudest voice on the floor, making sure everyone is together in huddles. She is the leader, and it's by far.
There's no question about it. Her maturity and the way she's handled her business is what you go to college for, quite frankly.
And she gets the block shot right there. Maryland enjoying a 7-0 run. You might be looking at the top 2 picks in the WNBA draft in a couple of weeks.
You talk about guard-like skills, handling up the floor off the glass.
Sellers, 9-0 run for Maryland. We framed it all day as the Maryland speed against the Notre Dame side.
Or excuse me, Notre Dame to the free throw line. Maryland putting Notre Dame on the bonus early. Well, I'd say 2:30, like they've done a good job of not putting them on the line to this point, playing good defense.
She has had to adjust not only to moving over and running point quite a bit, but she is at the top of everybody's scouting report. She's seeing a lot of defensive attention as Maryland is able to score. They're starting to play like they got nothing to lose. They're playing loose. They're playing free. As you mentioned, together. Not on that possession. Sellers. Step back. Masonis offensive rebound.
It's the transition push. It's the thrust up the floor. Oh, they're going to call Citron for a push-off.
Offensive foul on the Irish. Sellers.
Plus, I think Sellers needed a break.
Miller going to have to jack one up. And Masonis steps out. Marshall. Citron blocked by Sellers.
I think that one was blocked by Alexander. You just don't want to commit a foul if you're Maryland here.
It's also 6 seconds back on the game clock for Maryland to work with. There's the lob inside, and there's the violation.
And you got to be careful you don't draw a charge here if you're Maryland.
Sellers checks. Has time. Cheyenne Sellers And the Terps will take the lead into the fourth quarter. Ebo on the sideline still with 4 fouls, but Kylie Watson will play with 4 fouls.
Well, this is the lineup I told you I really like for Notre Dame. And KK Bransford gets caught up in a double team. When there's a stoppage of time, they get a defensive steal or a stop. They've been very good on that end.
Masonis, mid-range. Sellers, offensive rebound. Well, they have had second chance opportunities to really bust this thing open.
That's a tough coaching move right here, right? Because you're down 12 and you're taking one of your best players with 4 fouls to the bench.
Maryland trying to build on a big third quarter. Notre Dame trying to stem the flow here and get it back in their direction.
A really good job of defending that action by Maryland. That's a scouting report defensive series. They're running that play I call America's play, Beth. Reject the screen, drive baseline, re-screen, fill behind. They switched on all that.
Whoa, almost the three-point play for Myers, who crashed pretty hard. And with their final year of eligibility, they decide, I need to challenge myself against the best. And trying to make a big moment in the postseason. Winner of this one will have to roll through South Carolina or UCLA. That's our next Sweet 16 here in Greenville. Bransford scores down low. Miller off the bounce. And a blocking foul called.
Hey, be careful. You're touching it.
Early out of the locker room at halftime. Take shot after shot after shot.
If she's going to be on the floor, you got to get her posted up, and you got to get her a deep catch. And there's some miscommunication right there.
Olivia Miles out with the injury. Masonis. Sellers. She has really elevated her game as well this year. Is he listening to us in that right ear? Did you see he's got the ear? Or has he got Maryland radio on? Taking it all in with his daughter playing a huge role for the Terps. You lose 85% of your scoring. You're watching one of your former players, Angel Reese, have an All-American season at LSU. And, oh, by the way, they're in this building playing their best ball down the stretch.
You know, you don't know when the traps are coming. It's a little bit more unpredictable than it's been in the past.
Miller! Players were talking to us about confidence, about taking advantage of opportunities. There were 4 starting jobs open this year for Maryland. And like all great teams, you got to have that glue guy. And all the Maryland players you talk to, they talk about faith, keeping everybody together throughout the tough times earlier in the year.
Well, Faith's mom played at St. Joe's, I'm guessing for the legendary maybe Muffet McGraw, maybe Jim Foster. Also was on the coaching staff with Coach Oriema. Ellen is her name.
They've scored 20 points off of turnovers. They've scored 16 fast break points. And they have fouled out Lauren Ebo. And Westbeld and Watson continue to play with 4 fouls.
I thought it was a critical foul in the beginning of the fourth when Westbeld picked up that 4th foul with a 12-point deficit. It was a tough coaching decision. Well, here's the thing. UCLA plays a style that's not common in the SEC. Right? It is a spread, 5-out, empty the low block. And you're going to force South Carolina to have to guard a lot of cutting and screening action. Well, if you don't keep playing South Carolina now, how are you ever going to beat them? And UCLA has played them a couple of times. And this year, they only lost by 9 points in Columbia.
Of course, when you talk about South Carolina, undefeated, and it's a rarity that opponents can keep it close against them.
But last year they proved that you could play D and win the national championship and not have great offensive numbers. Their numbers were good offensively, but they weren't the best we'd ever seen in the championship. But this year it's a much different situation.
Well, the front line is unparalleled right now in the game. They can bring bigs, not only in their starting lineup, but off the bench. And it's a special senior class. But they have one from last year. They're trying to get another one and with another national championship. Their senior class, they call themselves the Freshies.
It's pretty amazing how you can come together and sacrifice for the greater good for a better cause, right? And that's exactly what these young women have done. 8 teams make it to the NCAA tournament, the most of any league. And her team, you know, she reinvented her team a couple of times with injury. First it was the Mabry injury, then it was the Ebo injury, and then, you know, then it was the Olivia Miles injury. And, you know, it's not going to diminish the success they had. It's certainly stuff that they can build on. And you can see the tears for Dara right there. I mean, this is when it hits you at home when you're watching a senior, knowing she didn't get to finish the way she wanted and her team's not going to finish the way they wanted. And it's heartbreaking because we know the Mabry so well.
They've been around for, 11 years, the Mabry sisters.
Patty passed the Kleenex.
Lauren Ebo, who transferred in to get a shot at a Final Four. She's one of the few that won't be back next year, those two. Everybody else, of course, Olivia Miles has just been announced as a knee injury. Hopefully she would be ready to go.
Or retool. It's not even reinventing. It's a style of play that works.
Lavender Briggs got it.
7 o'clock tomorrow night.
And a double dip tomorrow night. And Maryland, the first team into the doubleheader on Monday night. Good block for Prosper. Even though she joined the Irish early, she will still benefit from an extra year. Bucket is good for Jenna Brown. And they have busted loose here in the second half, led by Shy Sellers and Diamond Miller. Utah knocked out yesterday. Celebration is underway for Maryland. The Terrapins, a winner over Notre Dame.